True peace doesn't come from perfect circumstances. Peace isn't the absence of noise. It's the strength to remain still within the noise. In this video, I'll walk you through 10 powerful things you must let go of. Not tomorrow, today. If you want lasting inner peace, when you stop doing these, peace doesn't need to be found. It will rise to the surface. Rule 1. Stop trying to control everything. Settle in now. Let the day dissolve. Feel the tension in your shoulders, your jaw. Your hands begin to melt away with each slow, steady breath. You have carried the weight of the world today. But for these next few moments in the sanctuary of this quiet space, you can set that weight down. This time is for you. It is a time for release. We are beginning a journey tonight, a journey toward the inner peace that you seek. But this path is not about adding more to your life. It is not about learning more tricks or hustling harder. It is a path of subtraction, a path of letting go. We will walk through 10 things you must stop doing, 10 burdens you must learn to set down if you wish to find the tranquility that is your birthright. Our first step is the most fundamental. It is the master key that unlocks the door to peace. It is the source of so much of our anxiety, our frustration, our feeling of being perpetually at war with life. The first thing you must stop doing is this. Stop trying to control everything. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, think of that white-knuckle grip you hold on your life. The constant mental chess game, trying to anticipate every outcome, manage every person's perception, and force every event to bend to your will. We are taught that this is strength, that this is what it means to be responsible. But the Stoics knew it was a recipe for madness. It is the act of shouldering the weight of the entire universe, a burden no mortal was ever meant to carry. This desperate need to control things that are, by their very nature, uncontrollable is the engine of anxiety. It is the quiet hum of fear that runs beneath the surface of your days, whispering, "What if this goes wrong? What if they don't do what I want? What if I fail?" It is exhausting. It is a battle you are guaranteed to lose. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus, a man who endured the powerlessness of slavery, gave us the sacred map to escape this prison. He said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." Let that simple, profound truth wash over you. It is a line drawn in the sand of reality. On one side are the things that are not up to you. The weather, the traffic, the past, the economy, what other people think, say, or do. To waste your energy here is to scream at the rain, to try to command the tides. It is a fool's errand. But on the other side of that line is your kingdom. A small but absolute domain where you are sovereign. What is in this kingdom? Your choices, your reactions, your mindset, your judgments, the effort you put in, the principles you live by. This is where your power lies. The practice, then, is an act of release, a conscious surrender. Right now, in the quiet of your mind, I want you to bring forward a conscious surrender. Right now, in the quiet of your mind, I want you to bring forward a conscious surrender, a conscious surrender, a conscious surrender. Worry that has been troubling you. See it clearly. Feel the anxiety it brings. Now, ask it a simple question. Is this thing truly mine to control? Is the final outcome of that project yours to control? Or is only your effort and preparation yours? Is another person's opinion of you yours to control? Or is only your own integrity and character yours? If it is not in your kingdom, I want you to visualize yourself unclenching your fist around it. See your hand opening and watch that worry float away like a single lantern into the night sky. You are not abandoning it. You are releasing it to the universe, to which it belongs. You are setting down a weight that was never yours to carry. Feel the lightness in your shoulders. Feel the peace that rushes into the space where That anxiety once lived. Peace does not begin when you finally gain control over everything. Peace begins the moment you accept what you cannot change and dedicate your entire life force to mastering the one thing you can, your self-doubt, as you drift towards sleep. Let this be your meditation. With every exhale, release your grip a little more. Let go of the need to manage the world. Your only task is to manage your own mind. Rest now, not as the stressed manager of the universe, but as the calm, powerful king of your own mind. Rule 2. Stop arguing with reality. You are resting now in the quiet freedom of letting go. You have released the impossible burden of trying to control the uncontrollable, and you are beginning to feel the peace that comes from focusing only on your own inner kingdom. You have set down the heavy shield of control, but there is another, more stubborn battle that we wage, one that robs us of our tranquility and fills our hearts with bitterness. It is the war we fight against what has already happened. It is the endless argument with the past. This brings us to the second thing you must stop doing to find inner peace. Stop arguing with reality. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, let your mind drift to a moment in your life that did not go your way. A setback, a failure, a loss. A moment that made you clench your fists and cry out, silently or aloud, "This shouldn't have happened." Feel the energy of that phrase. This shouldn't be. It is a statement of profound resistance. It is you, a single human being, standing on the shore of time, trying to command the waves of what is to turn back. It is a fight against the very fabric of the universe. And it is a fight that not only can you not win, but one that drains your spirit, leaving you exhausted, resentful, and stuck. Arguing with reality is the source of our deepest bitterness. We replay the event in our minds over and over, imagining different outcomes, wishing things were different. We become trapped in a mental prison of our own making, chained to a past we cannot change. We water the roots of our own suffering with the poison of resentment. The Stoics taught that this resistance was a form of madness. Why spend your precious life force fighting a battle that is already over? The event has happened. It is now as much a part of reality as the sky above. Your judgment that it shouldn't have happened does not change it. It only causes you to suffer from it twice, once when it happened, and again, every time you replay it with bitterness. The great teacher Epictetus offered a powerful alternative, a radical shift in perspective. He said, "Don't demand that. Things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." This is not passive resignation. It is not saying that you should enjoy tragedy or injustice. It is a profound, strategic acceptance. It is the understanding that your power does not lie in changing the past, but in how you respond to the present that the past has created. The practice for this rule is a simple but powerful reframing of your inner dialogue. The moment you catch yourself thinking, "This shouldn't have happened," or "Why me?" you must stop. You pause. You take a breath. And you replace that useless, backward-looking question with a powerful, forward-looking one. What now? This question is the key that unlocks the prison door. It immediately shifts your focus from the past, which you cannot control, to the present moment where your power truly lies. It turns you from a passive victim of your history into the active creator of your future. I lost my job. This shouldn't have happened. That is the path of suffering. I lost my job. What now? That is the path of strength. It leads to action, updating a resume, learning a new skill, seeing an opportunity in the change. You begin to view every obstacle not as a cruel injustice, but as a hidden invitation. An invitation to become stronger, wiser, more resilient. The obstacle is not in your way. It is your way, as you drift towards sleep. Think of that event that has been a source of bitterness for you. See it clearly in your mind. Now, Let go of the argument. Stop fighting it. Accept that it happened. It is part of your story. It is a fact. Now, ask it. What did you teach me? What strength did you forge in me? See it not as a scar, but as a mark of a warrior who endured a battle and survived. Let the feeling of resistance dissolve from your body. Feel the peace that comes from making peace with your own story. You cannot change the path you have walked, but you can choose, with strength and wisdom, where you will walk from here. Rest now, not as a prisoner of your past, but as a student of it, ready to walk forward into a future you will create. Rule 3. Stop pleasing everyone. You are resting now in a state of profound acceptance. You have made a truce with reality, understanding that your power lies not in arguing with what has been, but in choosing what you will do now. You have freed yourself from the chains of the past, but there is another set of chains, just as heavy and just as binding, that we willingly wrap around ourselves every single day. They are the invisible chains forged from the opinions, expectations, and judgments of other people. This brings us to the third thing you must stop doing if you want inner peace. Stop trying to please everyone. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, think of all the energy you spend as a chameleon. The way you subtly change your personality, your opinions, your very essence, to fit the room you are in. The way you say yes when your soul is screaming no. The way you swallow your own truth because you are afraid it might displease someone, make them uncomfortable, or cause them to think less of you. This behavior, this constant people-pleasing, feels like a survival strategy. We believe it makes us agreeable, that it makes us liked, that it keeps the peace. But the Stoics knew it was a form of self-imposed slavery. The man who needs everyone to like him is a slave to everyone. His inner peace is not his own. It is a fragile thing he places in the hands of every acquaintance, every stranger, every critic. He has 1,000 masters, and he can never be free. When you make other people's approval your goal, you give them the power to define you. You become a hollow reflection of their desires, not a solid expression of your own character. You live in a constant, low-grade state of anxiety, always monitoring, always adjusting, always fearful of taking a wrong step and falling out of favor. This is not peace. This is a life sentence in a prison of performance. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, ever the champion of inner freedom, gave this stark but liberating advice. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let that sink in. Be content to be misunderstood. Be willing to have people disagree with you. Be willing to have them think you are strange or foolish for holding to your principles. Why? Because the price of universal approval is your soul. The only way to please everyone is to have no core, no principles, no authentic self. The practice for this rule is an act of quiet, courageous self-definition. First, you must define your principles. What do you stand for, even if you stand alone? What are the non-negotiable values that form the core of your character? Integrity? Honesty? Discipline? Kindness? Take the time to know what they are. Write them down. This is your personal constitution. It is the solid ground upon which you will build your life. Second, you must practice speaking and acting in alignment with these principles, even when it is uncomfortable. This does not mean being obnoxious or deliberately contrarian. It means speaking your truth with calm dignity, even if your voice shakes. It means saying no with respect, but with firmness to requests that violate your values or drain your spirit. It means choosing the action that is right, not the one that is easy or popular. Each time you do this, you are casting a vote for your own freedom. You are strengthening your own character. You may find that some people fall away. Let them. They were only attracted to the mask you were wearing, not to the true self you are becoming. In their place, you will attract people who respect your integrity, who are drawn to your authenticity. You will find a deeper, more genuine connection with a few than the shallow, exhausting approval of the many. As you drift towards sleep, let go of the need to be liked by everyone. Release the heavy burden of managing other people's perceptions of you. It is an impossible task. Instead, focus on earning the respect of one person, the wise, principled man you are striving to become. Let his be the only judgment that matters. When you can look at your own reflection in the mirror at the end of the day and know that you were true to your own code, you will find a peace that no amount of external applause can ever provide. Rest now, not as an actor on a stage, but as the quiet, sovereign author of your own life. You are not for everyone, and that is your strength. Rule 4. Stop comparing yourself. You are resting now in the quiet integrity of your own principles. You have released the exhausting need to please everyone, and you are beginning to find a profound peace in being true to yourself. You have called your spirit home, but even when we are home, a thief can sneak in through the window of our own mind. A thief that silently, skillfully steals our joy, poisons our gratitude, and makes our own life feel inadequate. This thief has a name, and we invite it in every single day. This brings us to the fourth thing you must stop doing if you want inner peace. Stop comparing yourself to others. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, think of the endless gallery you scrolled through today. The curated images of other people's lives. The perfect bodies, the exotic vacations, the career triumphs, the seemingly flawless relationships. Think of that subtle, familiar pang you felt. That quiet, corrosive whisper in your mind that says, "Look at them. Why isn't my life like that? I'm falling behind." This act of comparison feels almost natural, like a tool for motivation. We tell ourselves we are just gathering inspiration, setting goals. But the Stoics knew it is one of the most destructive habits of the human mind. Comparison is the thief of contentment. It is a game you are mathematically guaranteed to lose because you are always comparing your own messy, complex, behind-the-scenes reality with someone else's perfectly edited highlight reel. You compare your struggles with their successes. You compare your doubts with their confidence. You compare your beginning with their middle or end. It is a rigged game, designed to leave you feeling perpetually lacking. It yanks you out of the present moment, out of the gratitude for your own unique journey, and plunges you into a fantasy world of envy and dissatisfaction. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a man who stood at the pinnacle of human society, saw even from his throne that looking outward for validation or comparison was a trap. He sought a different kind of peace. He wrote in his journal, reminding himself of the tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do. His focus was entirely internal. The actions of others were their own story. His only concern was his own character, his own actions, his own progress. The practice to defeat this thief of joy is a conscious and deliberate redirection of your focus. The moment you catch yourself in the act of comparison, you must become a gentle guardian of your own mind. You will not scold yourself. You will simply and kindly change the channel. You will pull your attention back from their story and place it firmly onto your own. You will do this by practicing two forms of reflection. First, you will reflect on your own growth. Instead of looking at where others are, look at where you have been. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday, last month, last year. What have you learned that you didn't know then? What obstacle have you overcome? What small discipline have you cultivated? This is the only comparison that is fair, motivating, and true. It honors your journey. It fills you with a genuine sense of gratitude and pride for the mountains you have already climbed. Second, you will reflect on your own path. Remember that your journey is unique. The person you are comparing yourself to has a different history, different struggles, different advantages, and a different destination. Their path is not your path. To envy their position is as absurd as a mountain climber envying the position of a deep-sea diver. Both are on their own valid, challenging journeys. Your only job is to walk your path with as much integrity, discipline, and courage as you can muster as you drift towards sleep. Let the images of other people's lives fade away. Let go of the race. There is no race. There is only your walk. Visualize your own path stretching out before you. It is not a straight line. It has twists and turns, valleys and peaks. It is uniquely yours. See the footprints behind you, marking how far you have already come. Feel a sense of deep contentment, not because you are ahead of anyone else, but because you are still on the path. You are still moving. You are still growing. Your life is not meant to be a copy of someone else's. It is a unique masterpiece. You are creating one day at a time. Stop looking at other people's canvases. Focus on your own. Rest now in the peaceful contentment of a man who is grateful for his own journey. Rule 5. Stop reacting without thought. You are resting in the peaceful contentment of your own unique journey. You have let go of the thief of comparison and have returned your focus to your own path, your own growth. You are cultivating a deep sense of gratitude for the life that is yours. But even on our own path, we encounter friction. The world will inevitably bump against us, provoking us, testing our newfound peace. A careless driver, a critical comment, a frustrating setback. In these moments, our tranquility is put on trial. A single thoughtless reaction can shatter the peace we have so carefully cultivated. This brings us to the 5th thing you must stop doing if you want inner peace. Stop reacting without thought. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, think of a moment today or this week when you were triggered. Feel the memory of that sudden hot flash of emotion. The anger, the frustration, the anxiety. Remember how quickly it seized you, how it felt like a wave cresting and crashing over you, pulling you out to a sea of negativity. In that moment, you were not in control. Your emotions were. This is reactivity. It's the knee-jerk, animalistic response that comes from our most primitive brain. It feels powerful and justified in the moment, but it almost always leaves us feeling drained, regretful, and further from peace. Every time we react without thought, we are giving our power away. We are allowing an external event or another person to dictate our inner state. We become a puppet, and our strings are pulled by anything and everything that doesn't go our way. The Stoics believed that this mastery over our own reactions was the very foundation of a good and peaceful life. It was the essence of wisdom. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius, in his private notes to himself, wrote this profound truth. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The insult is not the pain. The traffic jam is not the pain. The criticism is not the pain. They are merely external events. The pain, the distress, the anger, that is our estimate of the event. It is the story we tell ourselves about it in the instant it happens. And that story, that estimate, is the one thing we have the absolute power to change. The practice for this rule is to become the calm, watchful guardian of your own mind. It is to create a sacred space between the stimulus and your response. The moment you feel that trigger, that initial flash of heat, that is your signal. It is your mind's alarm bell, not to charge into battle, but to pause. In that moment, you will do one simple thing. You will count to 5. 1. Take a slow breath in. 2. Hold it for a moment. 3. Breathe out slowly. 4. Feel your feet on the ground. 5. Observe the emotion as if it were a cloud passing in the sky. In these 5 seconds, you perform a miracle. You cut the strings of the puppet. You reclaim your power. You create just enough space to move from a thoughtless reaction to a deliberate response. A reaction is instinct. A response is a choice. A reaction is emotional. A response is wise. A reaction is weakness. A response is strength. Once you have paused, your mind will be calm enough to choose. You can choose to see the insult not as a threat, but as information about the other person's own pain. You can choose to see the setback not as a disaster, but as an opportunity to practice patience. You can choose to say nothing at all, preserving. Your peace is your most valued possession. Self-control is the bedrock of serenity. A man who cannot control his own impulses can never be at peace, for he is a ship without a rudder in a perpetual storm of his own making. As you drift towards sleep, visualize yourself as this calm guardian. See a provocative event coming towards you, a critical email, a frustrating delay. See the initial spark of anger or anxiety, but then see yourself taking that pause. See yourself counting to 5. Feel the emotional wave peak and then begin to recede, all without you being swept away. See yourself standing on the shore, calm and dry, watching the wave return to the sea. You are not the wave. You are the calm, vast ocean itself. Rest now in the profound and unshakable peace of a man who is the master of his own mind. Rule 6. Stop worrying about the future. You are resting in the profound stillness of a self-controlled mind. You have learned to create a sacred pause, transforming yourself from a reactor into a responder. You are the calm master of your inner world, no longer a puppet to external events. You are learning to find peace in the present. But there is a ghost that haunts the present moment, a shadow that steals its light and fills it with a quiet, persistent dread. It is the ghost of tomorrow. It is the endless, exhausting habit of worrying about the future. This brings us to the 6th thing you must stop doing if you wish to find inner peace. Stop worrying about the future. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, feel the subtle hum of anxiety that so often accompanies our thoughts of what is to come. The what ifs. What if I fail the presentation? What if I get sick? What if I lose my job? What if this relationship ends? Our minds are magnificent time-traveling machines. But instead of using this power for good, we often use it to travel into 1,000 imagined futures, almost all of them negative. We live through 1,000 potential catastrophes before a single one has even occurred. We fight battles that may never happen. We mourn losses that are only phantoms. The Roman philosopher Seneca, a man who faced immense uncertainty and political danger, saw this habit with perfect clarity. He wrote, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." Let that phrase sink deep into your soul. Every moment you spend worrying, you are choosing to suffer before it is necessary. You are paying interest on a debt you may never owe. You are doubling, tripling, multiplying your pain by living it in advance, over and over again. This is not preparation. This is self-inflicted torture. It drains your energy, shatters your focus, and robs you of the peace and joy that can only be found in one place: the present moment. The future is a phantom. The past is a memory. The only reality you ever truly have is right now, in this breath. Peace is always and only found here. The Stoic practice for taming this worry is twofold. First, you must train your attention like a muscle. When you find your mind drifting into the anxious what-ifs of tomorrow, you must gently but firmly guide it back to today. Bring your focus to the physical sensations of this very moment. The feeling of the sheets against your skin, the sound of your own slow breathing, the gentle darkness of the room. Your task is not to solve every problem that might ever exist. Your task is only to handle this present moment with as much wisdom and courage as you can. Focus fully on today. Second, the Stoics had a powerful technique, not to increase worry, but to dissolve it. It is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of future challenges. This is not the same as anxious worrying. Worrying is a vague, emotional, and repetitive loop. Premeditation is a calm, rational, and finite exercise. You can practice it now, briefly. Bring to mind one thing you are worried about in the future. Instead of just feeling the vague anxiety, calmly and rationally imagine the worst-case scenario. Imagine it happening. Imagine you fail. Imagine you lose. Now, sit with that imagined reality for a moment and ask yourself, and then, what? Would I survive? What would I do next? What strengths would I call upon? What you will almost always find is that even the worst-case scenario is survivable. You would adapt. You would find a way. You would endure. By looking the feared outcome directly in the eye, you strip it of its monstrous, shadowy power. You see it for what it is, a challenge, not an annihilation. Having faced it calmly in your mind, you can now release it. You have a plan. You are prepared, and you can return to the present moment, free from that vague dread as you drift towards sleep. Let go of tomorrow. It will arrive when it arrives, and you will meet it with the strength you have. You do not need to fight its battles. Tonight, your only job is to rest, to heal, to be here. Now, with every exhale, imagine yourself releasing your grip on the future. Let it go. The only moment that exists is this one. And in this moment, you are safe. You are at peace. Rest now, fully and completely, in the serene sanctuary of the present moment. Rule 7. Stop seeking revenge or holding grudges. You are resting in the calm sanctuary of the present moment. You have released the ghosts of the future, understanding that your peace and power are found only in the here and now. You are learning to be fully present, but the present can be poisoned by a different kind of ghost, the ghost of past hurts, the wounds inflicted by others, which we keep fresh and bleeding by replaying them in our minds, feeding them with the venom of our own resentment. This brings us to the seventh thing you must stop doing if you want to find inner peace. Stop seeking revenge or holding grudges. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, allow your mind to gently touch upon a memory of a time you were wronged, a betrayal by a friend, an injustice from a colleague, a deep hurt caused by someone you loved. Feel the familiar echo of that pain, the lingering sting of bitterness. Feel the desire, however faint, to see that person suffer as you have suffered, to get even, to balance the scales. This desire for revenge, this act of holding a grudge, feels like a source of power. We believe that by holding on to our anger, we are punishing the person who hurt us. We believe that our resentment is a weapon we are aiming at them, but the Stoics knew that we have it exactly backward. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. The resentment, the hatred, the endless plotting of imaginary conversations and vengeful acts. These things do not harm the other person. They do not even touch them. They are a fire that you have lit inside your own soul, a fire that consumes your peace, burns your energy, and chains you to the very person you wish to be free from. The person who hurt you may have moved on long ago, while you remain a willing prisoner, shackled to a memory, forced to relive the pain every single day. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a man who faced betrayals that could cost him his life and his empire, searched for a way to break these chains. He came to this profound and powerful conclusion, a command he gave to himself. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Let that revolutionary idea settle deep within you. The best revenge is not to stoop to their level, not to enter the mud with them, not to become another source of pain and bitterness in the world. The best revenge is to rise above. It is to respond to their cruelty with your character, to meet their chaos with your calm, to answer their injustice with your unwavering integrity. By refusing to become like them, you win the ultimate victory. You preserve your own soul. The practice for this rule is an act of supreme self-liberation. It is the practice of forgiveness. This is often misunderstood. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who hurt you. You do not forgive them because they deserve it. You do not forgive them because what they did was okay. You forgive them because you deserve to be free. You forgive to dissolve the poison in your own heart. You forgive to cut the chains that bind you to the past. You forgive to reclaim the vast amounts of mental and emotional energy you have been wasting on a fire that only burns you as you lie here, on the edge of sleep. Bring that person and that memory to mind one last time. See them clearly. Acknowledge the pain they caused. It was real. Now, in the safety of your own heart, I want you to visualize yourself handing that pain back to them. It is their burden, not yours. You will no longer carry it. Say to yourself, silently, I release you. I release myself from this story. I will no longer allow your actions to disturb my peace. Feel the chains breaking. Feel the weight lifting from your spirit. Letting go is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of wisdom and strength. It is you choosing your own peace over your own pain. Rest now, free from the heavy burden of resentment. Your heart is light. Your mind is clear. You are no longer a prisoner of the past. You are free to live fully and completely in the peace of the present moment. Rule 8. Stop speaking carelessly. You are resting now in a state of profound lightness. You have released the poison of resentment and have cut the chains that bound you to past hurts. Your heart is free. Your mind is clear. You are at peace. Now, we must turn our attention to how we interact with the world from this place of newfound peace. For just as we can be disturbed by the actions of others, we can become the source of disturbance ourselves, often without realizing it, through the careless use of our own words. This brings us to the 8th thing you must stop doing if you want to maintain your inner peace. Stop speaking carelessly. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, reflect on the words that left your lips today. The casual comment made in jest that may have held a hidden sting. The piece of gossip shared to feel part of a group. The harsh criticism delivered in a moment of frustration. The endless stream of chatter used to fill an uncomfortable silence. We live in a world that is drowning in noise. We feel a constant pressure to speak, to have an opinion, to contribute to the conversation. But we rarely consider the power and the consequence of our words. A careless word is like a stone tossed into a calm lake. Its ripples can travel much farther than we intend, disturbing our own peace and the peace of others. Gossip creates an atmosphere of distrust and negativity, which ultimately infects our own mind. Harsh criticism, even when justified, can create enemies and lingering resentment that comes back to haunt us. Idle, meaningless chatter drains our own mental energy, leaving us feeling scattered and empty. Your words are a direct reflection of your inner state. A chaotic, careless tongue reveals a chaotic, careless mind. A peaceful mind expresses itself with intention, clarity, and care. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, famously said, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." He understood that a physical stumble is temporary and easily corrected, but a verbal stumble can cause lasting damage to our relationships, our reputation, and our own inner tranquility. He also noted that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, suggesting we should listen twice as much as we speak. The practice for this rule is to become a mindful, intentional speaker. It is to become a guardian at the gate of your own mouth. Tomorrow, before you speak, You will practice running your words through a simple, silent filter. You will ask yourself, is what I am about to say true? Am I speaking from fact or from rumor and assumption? Is it necessary? Does this need to be said? Or am I just filling silence or seeking attention? Is it kind? Will these words build up? Or will they tear down? Can I frame this in a way that is constructive rather than destructive? If what you are about to say does not pass through these gates, consider the most powerful alternative: silence. You will be amazed at how much you would normally say falls into the category of unnecessary noise. By choosing silence, you are not being passive or withdrawn. You are being powerful. You are conserving your energy. You are cultivating an aura of thoughtfulness and wisdom. When you do choose to speak, your words will have more weight, more impact, because they are no longer lost in a sea of idle chatter. People will listen more closely because they know your words are chosen with care. This practice will also transform your inner world. By refusing to engage in gossip and negativity, you starve the negative parts of your own mind. You create a cleaner, quieter inner environment. Your peace becomes more stable because you are no longer contributing to the world's chaos. As you drift towards sleep, imagine your words as precious seeds. With each one you speak, you are planting something in the world. Are you planting weeds of discord, or are you planting seeds of understanding, clarity, and peace? Let your goal for tomorrow be to speak less, but to have your words mean more. To let your quiet confidence and thoughtful speech be a source of calm for yourself and for everyone you interact with. Rest now in the profound and dignified peace of a quiet mind. Rule 9. Stop neglecting your mind and body. You are resting in the dignified quiet of a well-guarded mind. You have learned the power of intentional speech and the peace that comes from choosing your words with care. Your outer world is beginning to reflect the tranquility you are cultivating within. But this inner peace, this clarity of mind, requires a worthy vessel to inhabit. A king cannot rule his kingdom effectively from a crumbling, neglected castle. The most brilliant mind will be clouded if its physical home is in disarray. This brings us to the ninth thing you must stop doing if you want to protect your inner peace. Stop neglecting your mind and your body. Breathe in deeply. And as you breathe out, take a moment to honestly assess the state of your own vessel. How have you treated your body today? Have you nourished it with clean fuel, or have you filled it with processed junk that fogs your mind and drains your energy? Have you moved it, celebrated its strength, or have you allowed it to become stiff and stagnant? And what of your mind? Have you fed it with knowledge, contemplation, and stillness? Or have you force-fed it a relentless diet of digital distractions, endless notifications, and the chaotic noise of the modern world? We often treat our mind and body as separate or as afterthoughts in our busy lives. We tell ourselves we are too busy to exercise, too stressed to eat well, too tired to meditate. We sacrifice our physical and mental well-being on the altar of productivity or entertainment. But the Stoics knew that this was a profound error. They understood that the body and mind are inextricably linked. A neglected body creates a clouded, anxious mind. A neglected mind creates a weak, undisciplined body. You cannot have inner peace if your physical and mental foundations are crumbling. The philosopher Epictetus stated it with his usual clarity. No man is free who is not master of himself. This self-mastery is not just an abstract, philosophical concept. It is a daily, practical commitment to the maintenance of your own being. A man who is a slave to his appetites, a slave to his laziness, a slave to his distractions, can never be truly free or at peace because he is constantly at war with himself. To neglect yourself is an act of self-disrespect. It sends a message to your subconscious that you are not worthy of care. And this feeling of unworthiness is a deep, underlying source of inner turmoil. The practice for this rule is to embrace the discipline of self-respect through self-maintenance. It is to treat the care of your mind and body not as a chore, but as a sacred duty. This doesn't require a radical overhaul overnight. It requires small, consistent, daily acts of order. For your body, choose one thing to stop and one thing to start. Stop the mindless snacking after dinner. Stop hitting the snooze button. And start with a simple promise. Move your body for just 15 minutes a day. A brisk walk is enough. Drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Eat one clean, intentional meal. These small acts of physical discipline build a powerful sense of self-command. For your mind, the practice is the same. Stop the endless, mindless scrolling. Stop falling asleep to the blue light of a screen. And start by carving out just 10 minutes of quiet for your mind each day. This could be meditation, simply focusing on your breath. It could be journaling, untangling your thoughts onto a page. It could be reading a single page from a book that challenges and expands your thinking. These are not tasks to be checked off a list. They are acts of communion with yourself. They are how you build a body that feels strong and energetic, and a mind that is clear, focused, and resilient as you drift towards sleep. Commit to this path of self-respect. Let go of the excuses. Release the idea that you don't have time. You don't have time not to. Your peace of mind depends on it. Visualize yourself tomorrow making one small, positive choice for your body and one for your mind. Feel the quiet, pride, and the sense of inner alignment that comes from treating yourself as someone worthy of care. This is the foundation upon which all other virtues are built. Rest now, knowing that you are building a strong and worthy vessel for the peaceful, powerful soul you are cultivating. Rule 10. Stop living without a code. You are resting in the quiet strength of a well-cared-for self. You have committed to honoring your mind and body as the sacred vessel for your spirit. You have cleared away the inner and outer chaos, peace. By peace, you are building a life of intention. We now arrive at our final lesson. It is the keystone that locks all the other principles into place. Without it, all our efforts to find peace are like building a beautiful house on shifting sand. You can release control, accept reality, stop pleasing others, and care for your body. But if you do not know why you are doing it, if you do not have a guiding star, you will inevitably drift back into chaos when the storms of life hit. This brings us to the 10th and final thing you must stop doing if you want to find lasting inner peace. Stop living without a code. Breathe in deeply, and as you breathe out, consider this: what are the rules you live by? Not the laws of the land or the expectations of society, but your own personal, non-negotiable code of conduct. If you cannot answer that question clearly, you are likely living a life of quiet desperation, reacting to the world instead of acting within it. A man without a code is a ship without a rudder. He's at the mercy of every passing current of emotion, every shifting wind of public opinion, every tempting wave of fleeting pleasure. He feels lost because he has no map. He feels anxious because he has no anchor. He makes decisions based on what feels good in the moment, not on what is right in the long run. His life lacks a coherent narrative, a sense of purpose. And a life without purpose can never be a life of peace. Inner peace is not a passive state of bliss. It is the deep, quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are living in alignment with your own highest values. It is the tranquility of a man who knows what he stands for and what he will not stand for. It is the strength that comes from having a clear internal compass that guides your choices, especially when those choices are difficult. The Stoics were men of code. Their philosophy was not an abstract intellectual exercise. It was a practical daily guide for living a virtuous and meaningful life. Epictetus, the former slave, gave us the clearest instructions for this. He said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This is the essence of living by a code. First, you define the man you intend to be. Then, you use that definition to guide your every action. The practice for this final rule is the most important of all. It is the act of becoming the conscious architect of your own character. Sometime this week, you will take out a journal and a pen, and you will sit in silence. You will ask yourself two profound questions. First, what do I stand for? What are the virtues you admire most and wish to embody? Write them down. Courage, discipline, integrity, honesty, justice, wisdom, kindness. Choose the 3 or 4 that resonate most deeply in your soul. This is the foundation of your code. Second, what do I refuse? What are the behaviors you will no longer tolerate from yourself? Write them down. I refuse to lie, even when it's convenient. I refuse to be a victim of my circumstances. I refuse to waste my life on trivialities. I refuse to betray my own principles for the sake of approval. This defines the boundaries of your character. This document is your personal constitution. It is your sacred text, and you will revisit it every single morning. Read it. Remind yourself of the man you have chosen to be. Let this code be the filter through which you make every decision throughout your day dawn as you drift off to sleep tonight. Feel the profound sense of peace and direction that comes from having this clarity. You are no longer drifting. You have a rudder. You have a compass. You have a destination. To be the man described in your own code. Peace is not a destination you arrive at. It is the way you travel. And a man with a code travels with a quiet strength and a steady heart. No matter how fierce the storm, let this be your daily meditation. A quiet revolution of the mind. Because the man who is no longer disturbed is the man who is finally free.